Hello students, today we are going to study about living world and classification of microbes. In standard 7, we studied that all the living organisms on earth have adapted according to geographic region, food ingestion, defense, etc. According to 2011 census, around 87 million species of living organisms are found on the earth, including land and sea. To study such a vast number, it was essential to divide them into groups. So, groups and subgroups were created considering the similarities and differences among the living organisms. This process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups is called biological classifications. Let us study about the classification of living things. Robert Harding Whittaker was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided living organisms into 5 groups. Let us study about the classification done by Robert Whittaker. First is complexity of cell structure, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic cell. It is a unicellular organism. Its structure lacks membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotic cell. It is a multicellular organism and it has a well-defined nucleus along with other membrane-bound organelles. Second is complexity of organisms. It includes animals which belong to the unicellular and multicellular category. Third, modes of nutrition. It is a different ways of taking in food and using it for obtaining energy, growth, and to repair the wear and tear of body. According to modes of nutrition, living things are divided into first, plants. Plants prepare their own food with the help of photosynthesis, and that is why they are called as autotrophic plants. Fungi. Fungi cannot prepare their own food and they are saprophytic in nature. That is, they take their nutrition from dead organism. Third, animals. Animals cannot prepare their own food. They depend on other organisms for food, and that is why they are called as heterotrophic organisms. Fourth, lifestyle. Plants are said to be producers because they produce their own food. Second, animals are the consumers because they cannot prepare their own food and they consume other plants or animals. Third, fungi are the decomposers because they decompose and absorb nutrients from dead organisms. Fifth, phylogenetic relationship. Phylogenetic relationship is a study of the evolutionary history and relationships among individuals or groups of organisms. For example, eukaryotic cell is said to have evolved from prokaryotic cell, and multicellular organisms are said to have evolved from unicellular organisms. Now, let us study about different types of biological kingdoms. First is kingdom Monera, and here are some examples of kingdom Monera. Let us study characteristics of kingdom Monera. All the organisms are unicellular. They may be autotrophic or heterotrophic in nature. These are prokaryotic cell without distinct nucleus or cell organelles. All types of bacteria and blue-green algae are included in the kingdom Monera. Kingdom Protista, amoeba, euglena, and paramecium are some examples of kingdom Protista. Characteristics of Protista. Protista are single-celled organisms. They have pseudopodia, that is false feet, or cilia or whip-like flagella for movement. Kingdom 3 fungi. Examples are mushrooms, baker's yeast. Characteristics of fungi. They are non-green, eukaryotic and heterotrophic organisms. Most of them are saprotrophs, that is, they feed upon decaying organic matter. Their cell wall is made up of tough sugar complex called as chitin. Some fungi are thread-like and many nuclei are present in the cytoplasm. Examples, baker's yeast and mushrooms. Classification of microorganisms. First classification is bacteria. Here are some examples of bacteria. Characteristics of bacteria. The size of bacteria is about 1 micrometer to 10 micrometers. They are unicellular, independent and parasitic. Sometimes they form colonies. Distinct nucleus or cell organelles are absent. They reproduce by simple binary fission. They grow vigorously in favorable conditions. Second classification is Protozoa. Here are some examples of Protozoa. Characteristics of Protozoa. The size of Protozoa is approximately 200 micrometers. Protozoans are found in soil, fresh water and seawater. Some are found in the body of other organisms and are pathogenic. It means they can cause diseases. These are unicellular organisms with eukaryotic cell. They produce by simple cell division. There is a great variation in cell structure, organs of locomotion and modes of nutrition among protozoans. Examples: amoeba, paramecium, euglena, etc. Third classification is fungi, and here are some examples of fungi. Characteristics of fungi. Fungi are usually found on dead and decaying organisms. They are eukaryotic organisms. Some are unicellular and others are visible with naked eye. They are saprotrophic in nature. They absorb food from decaying organic matter. They reproduce sexually and asexually by cell division or budding. Fourth classification is algae. Characteristics of algae. Algae are aquatic. They are unicellular, eukaryotic and autotrophic organisms. Photosynthesis is carried out with the help of chloroplast present in the cell. Some of them are multicellular and visible to the naked eye. Example: chlorella. Fifth classification is virus. Characteristics of virus. Generally, viruses are not considered as living organisms. They are said to be organisms at the age of living and non-living. They are studied under microbiology. Viruses are extremely tiny, that is, they are 10 to 100 times smaller than bacteria and can be seen only with electron microscope. They are found in form of independent particles. They are actually long molecules of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, or RNA, ribonucleic acid, covered by protein coat. Viruses survive only in living plants or animal cells and produce their own proteins with the help of host cells and create their numerous replicas. Then they destroy the host cell and become free. These free viruses again infect new cells. Viruses cause many diseases to plants and animals. Hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you.